giving young people a new path to economic independence.
I'm happy to say that I am an entrepreneur.
Through the program, I have had my business registered with the Company Office of Jamaica.
That program and the success stories coming up. Hello, I'm Audrey Williams, and you are watching Jamaica Magazine. We also share a few community projects by the Jamaican Diaspora.
Through partnership, you can attain so much more rather than doing it individually.
You don't want to miss today's show, so please stay with us.
Did you know that in a recent survey done by the OCA in schools across Jamaica, 43% of the students received inappropriate messages from strangers? The OCA wants you to be smart online. Never speak to persons you don't know. Parents, encourage your children to be social but be smart.
This message was brought to you by the Office of the Children's Advocate with support from UNICEF.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh and this is your JIS News for Thursday, September 14. Cabinet has approved a proposal to demonetize and withdraw the 1 cent, 10 cent and 25 cent coins from circulation. Information Minister Senator Ruel Reid made the announcement during yesterday's post-cabinet press briefing.
The proposal and approval comes against the background of an assessment showing that the use of the lower three denominations have been decreasing since 2005. Details of a cost efficiency assessment also showed that the manufacturing costs consistently exceeded the face value of the coins.
This change is subject to the Bank of Jamaica's timeline for implementation. At that point, the coin denominations that will remain in circulation will be the $1, $5, $10 and $20 coins. Government will soon be establishing a ticketing system for persons found in possession of 2 ounces of marijuana or less.
And the reason for that is that the Chief Justice will tell you the courts were overburdened with hundreds of persons who were caught with a spliff, coming to court to plead guilty and paying $100. What is being done is that persons found with less than 2 ounces will be ticketed.
The Justice Minister says the tickets to implement the system will be available shortly. In the meantime, he is again warning persons that the decriminalization of possession of small quantities of ganja is not a free pass for recreational use.
Let me emphasize that the possession and use of marijuana can only be dealt with legitimately for medical purposes, for sacramental purposes, by Rastafarians and for scientific research. Any other use or possession is quite illegal.
The minister was speaking at this week's launch of the National Council on Drug Abuse's public education campaign on ganja dubbed Talk the Truth. Meanwhile, the Justice Ministry is looking to significantly expand the number of drug treatment courts in the island from the current 5.
The demand because of substance abuse is so great that the Chief Justice has requested that we increase them to all parishes.
While addressing the Talk the Truth public education launch, Minister Chuck argued that incarceration and punishment was not the right response to persons who engage in substance abuse. But he says establishing more drug treatment courts will require the availability of more psychiatrists and psychologists.
Very shortly, we are hoping that the Ministry of Health will give us support, especially to provide psychiatrists and psychologists. So very soon, we hope that we will have all parishes being able to have a drug treatment court at least once per month, depending on the availability of psychologists and psychiatrists.
The Kingston corporate area housing stock is getting a $2 billion boost. Ground was broken on Tuesday for 128 housing units in the Lots Apartments development on Arthur Wint Drive. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Darrell Vaz, has welcomed the investment by West Indies Home Contractors Limited.
When partnerships such as these are undertaken, there is a ripple effect on our economy and on our environment as hundreds of jobs are created, directly for our skilled laborers and indirectly for other sectors.
The development will feature 2 6-story apartment blocks with 84 studio apartments and 44 2-bedroom apartments in a gated community with 24-hour security.
It is an expression of WICON's and ICD's faith and confidence in the Jamaican economy.
Energy Minister Dr. Andrew Wheatley is insisting that the price increases announced by Petrojam last week are consistent with petroleum price movements in the U.S. Gulf Coast region. In response to concerns raised in the public, Dr. Wheatley says the commodity prices are generally influenced by supply and demand and in some cases exchange rate fluctuations. These, he says, can create significant changes in price over short periods due to natural disasters such as hurricanes, earthquakes, and geopolitical events such as wars or social upheavals. The minister says the most recent situation involving Hurricane Harvey is a clear demonstration of how natural disasters can affect the price of fuel. This incident, he says, resulted in the production loss of approximately 4 million barrels per day in the U.S. Gulf Coast, which represents approximately 20% of the entire U.S. refining capacity. Minister Wheatley says further that the principle of import parity pricing versus the cost-plus method of pricing has been established and agreed over the years by both political administrations. He says the pricing mechanism has also been universally accepted by all international agencies, including the International Monetary Fund. And finally, the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, will be partnering with the Urban Development Corporation to clean up a number of beaches this weekend. The 2 agencies will be leading teams of volunteers in cleaning debris from Half Moon Bay in Helsha, the Portland Bight Protected Area, and locations in Negril. It's among hundreds of activities planned across the island for Saturday in observance of International Coastal Cleanup Day. Jamaica's overall observance is being coordinated by the Jamaica Environment Trust. NEPA's Public Relations Officer, Deline Powell, says the cleanup day is to highlight the issue of improper disposal of solid waste and to indicate that marine litter is a serious problem around the world and in Jamaica.
A very big part of International Coastal Cleanup Day is not just removing garbage, but also about collecting the information related to the types of garbage. Solid waste is a very real problem, and it's a problem that is not going away. We can't ignore it. In addition to it being garbage being unsightly along our beaches, it poses a threat to marine life. So birds, fish, those kinds of things will actually end up ingesting plastic bags, styrofoam, those different kinds of things.
Persons wishing to participate in this year's International Coastal Cleanup Day activities can register on JET's website at jamentrust.org. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
Owning a business is a lifetime dream for many people, but accomplishing this goal at a young age is difficult and therefore a big achievement. And this is the happy reality for 21 young people who participated in the Pitch It, Learning and Investing in Your Future initiative. It targets vulnerable groups and is part of the Organization of American States program called A New Path. The Ministry of National Security is in support.
Government continues to provide opportunities for vulnerable young people to become successful entrepreneurs and employees. A project that stands out is Pitch It, Learning and Investing in Your Future, which is part of the Organization of American States, OAS, a New Path initiative. Under the program, young people are trained in entrepreneurial skills and receive mentorship and financial support. The target group is from juvenile remand centers, state care facilities, and the Citizen Security and Justice Program, CSJP.
This project is aimed at, when I really reflect on it, some of the principles that junior achievement itself stands on, and it's really to empower our youth to own their economic success.
The program started with 111 young people, but after 2 sessions, 51 were selected for further training.
They did the Junior Achievement Company of Entrepreneurs program. They learned about running a business. They heard about the Pitch It competition. They heard from business leaders. They practiced, they journaled, and prepared of how they would try to sell their story, their pitch about a business venture they would like to undertake.
The group was further cut to 21, and this batch was selected to start their own businesses from the ideas they presented. For the startup process, grants ranging from $150,000 to $400,000 were given through partners of the program. They included the OAS, Trust of the Americas, United States Agency for International Development, JMMB Foundation, Junior Achievement Jamaica, and the Ministry of National Security.
The New Path program it has become so much more than just a program, more than just a name. It is truly now the definition of a movement in this country, which exemplifies all that is good. It exemplifies the whole trajectory of Jamaica moving towards prosperity, towards better progress.
One of the success stories of the Pitch It initiative came from Shamika Campbell, who now runs her own meat and grocery store.
In the small district of Geneva in Westmoreland, I realized there was a need for a retail store that specializes in the selling of different meats and grocery items, as persons had to travel to the next town for that purpose. I immediately capitalized on that market, and with all the support given throughout the program, my business is now registered sole trade with the Companies Office of Jamaica. Now I am happy to say that I am an entrepreneur.
Shamika is using the training to ensure the success of her business. She also had this to say.
I will continue to learn and improve my entrepreneurial skills and knowledge to ensure I make the best decision for my business.
Established businesses of the 21 finalists are in the areas of photography, food and beverage, clothing, retail, electrical and computer repair, tailoring, poultry farming, and entertainment. A New Path has given the youngsters a stable and independent way of making a living, changing their lives for better, like Barrington Monroe.
Through the program, I have had my business registered with the Company Office of Jamaica. I have made association with the Jamaica Agricultural Society, who have assisted me in many ways. My farming included the rearing of chickens and planting of crops such as tomatoes and pepper. Today, I have complete 3 cycling of chicken rearing, and I am making arrangements to extend one of the section.
It's rewarding to celebrate the success of your businesses a year after you are granted these micro-grants. This process of mentorship increases the young beneficiaries' chances of success. The Pitch It initiative encouraged its young beneficiaries to become entrepreneurs and contribute to Jamaica's economy.
A New Path, which began in January 2015, was scheduled to end in January 2017, but has extended until September 2019. A key piece of advice was given to the first batch of recipients.
As you grow, as you become, be certain to stretch that hand to the side or behind you and to pull another.
We hope that when we call on you to support and mentor and take by the hand the next group of young beneficiaries of the Pitch It cycle, that want to become entrepreneurs, that you too will be ready to support them.
You are a vehicle of success for your community, for your own homes. You are now the ambassadors for us.
For further information on a new path, contact the local office of the OAS based at 2 to 4 Haining Road, Kingston 5, or call 754-3378.
We want a productive Jamaica. We all are productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, pathway to prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Up next, a recap of activities by the Jamaican Diaspora during their visit to the island recently.
Members of the Jamaican Diaspora traveled across the island in July to participate in more than 20 projects as part of the Jamaica 55 Diaspora Conference's Day of Service. The service groups included delegates from the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and even from the Middle East. Their projects ranged from youth and community development to male empowerment, educational workshops, healthcare, and others. One group visited the Tower Street Adult Correctional Facility in Kingston. This group included locally based organization Operation Save Jamaica and National Security State Minister Arnold Jr.
The goal of what we are doing here is to have purposeful rehabilitation for successful reintegration. We are trying to get everyone on board to break the cycle of crime and violence in Jamaica.
Chair of the UK Jamaica Diaspora Crime Intervention and Prevention Task Force, Dr. Leroy Logan, says the team will be working with the government on intervention strategies, training in entrepreneurial skills, and employability of inmates. Dr. Logan is meanwhile urging inmates to show a desire for positive change and a strong will to contribute to the development of not just themselves but also others.
If individuals are showing the right sort of attitude and the right sort of application, then those are criteria, because we're not talking about just levels of intelligence, because everyone's intelligent, but it's a question of how they want to apply their minds to develop those skills, and more importantly, and this is the key, how they give it back.
Senator Arnold Jr. says the visit and the commitment to help sends a positive message to inmates.
It sends a very clear message to the brothers that they are important regardless of their circumstances. And once we get the persons and the brothers that are here to feel themselves valued and to understand their own self-identity, that is the foundation for any of the activities to actually be successful.
Over at the Montego University College, the Diaspora team continued their empowerment of young people and adults to speak out on violence against children. Government agencies were also on hand to strengthen working relations.
We're really looking at the issues, the solutions to the issues. How is it that we can broaden the scope in having not only Jamaicans coming on board, but also the wider and diaspora putting their hands on deck.
The next step for me would to come here and understand the system within the local community as well as the various organizations to see how we can work together. Because through partnership, you can attain so much more rather than doing it individually.
We have to connect with people both local and abroad to get technical expertise. You know, we need clinicians, clinical psychologists, psychiatrists.
My take back is to figure out how to work with the task force that Laverne there has started through female development and see what I can do as a Diaspora Advisory Board member to help facilitate this work at a much larger level.
$1,625 or 198,000 Jamaican dollars was presented to E for Life, a non-government organization that cares for women and children living with HIV and teenage mothers who are infected with the virus.
Laverne, you guys have been great partners, you've been faithful partners, and we really want to thank you that this will go towards making sure that the work that we do here in Jamaica is a lot more secure, and we look for more checks of this in the very near future.
Meanwhile, over at Mona Commons Basic School,
today we're doing what we call collaborative community mentoring, and we're utilizing the resources, the human resources that we have to support young people, primarily youth parents and delinquent youth, in terms of identifying who they are through some self-awareness activities, moving towards some reflection, understanding how they are positioned within society and how they can work towards some self-determined goals in order to achieve their dreams.
A long time when I see them thing here, and it made me learn and to know people who I don't really know, you know, so I always want them to do this so I can educate it more, can understand more and achieve more in life.
One of my goals is to get a degree, so I won't let my situation hold me back. So I've learned that with faith and being persistent and getting involved, it will help me to move forward.
The undertaking is a partnership with Jamaica Cares Project and the University of the West Indies.
Since 2014, we have started offering 2 scholarships, tertiary scholarships annually to residents of Mona Common. And so to date, we have 6 persons from Mona Common in our tertiary scholarship program. Jamaica Cares is making an indelible mark in showing these people that, hey, something can happen. It's not where we are today, but it's where you can go later.
Another brief stop was at the Princess Margaret Hospital in St. Thomas. Doctors were on hand to give a refresher course in basic cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR.
Strain your elbows like this. Strain your elbows. Then you want to go down with your body strain. And butt fast, boom, boom, boom. So you want to do over, right? And you keep going. So you're going to be doing that fast.
That concluded the day's activities, and the Diaspora members returned home with hearts full, devising ways to continue providing support to their home country.
Natural disasters are unavoidable, but the impact can be minimized. That is, if we apply proactive measures. A platform you could use is this simulation exercise to test residential and commercial areas' vulnerability to earthquakes and floods.
Floods and earthquakes are 2 of the most common natural disasters. But unlike earthquakes, which usually take us by surprise, flooding to some extent can be predicted.
But when it is, what should we do with the information? And how do we safeguard ourselves and properties against this eventuality?
Through the use of revolutionary technology, awareness of the possible outcomes of a natural disaster has become more advanced. Persons are now able to use data on location, roof, and house type to create a simulation of what may happen in an earthquake, tropical storm, or hurricane.
The simulation was designed to combine place, type of structure, and event. Because Jamaica is vulnerable to four types of events: hurricane/tropical storms, landslides, floods, and earthquakes. But the same building that you live in is exposed to all four. And that same building you live in will react differently to all four.
Jamaica's landscape equally sits in low-lying and coastal areas as on hills and valleys. The country is also in an earthquake zone, so it can't hurt to do a little research on all the what-ifs, right?
You'll be able to go inside your house and see your roof being blown off, or your slab roof staying on. You'll be inside your slab roof house when earthquake shakes, it comes down on you. We'll be able to have those type of simulations.
How about the possible outcome of a Category 5 hurricane if you're living in a zinc roof wooden house that is built on stilts in a river valley? So now that these predictions are available to us, just how useful are they?
This simulator is now designed to take all of that information, the conventional knowledge that we as academics know, or the disaster management professional knows, dump it online as we have. Let the developer, housing developer, have access to it and see for himself. Let the parish council person or the development approval authority play with it.
And once they've viewed it, the authorities can use the data to plan areas for development, approve or deny development applications, and build better. The simulator is not just a special effect disaster interactive tool, but one that takes into account the realities of environmental and living conditions here in Jamaica.
And the simulator also seeks to bring an awareness of the impact natural disasters may have on lives, properties, and businesses in relation to the country's national goals.
The effect a hazard would have on everything ranging from the individual to the nation is important, and scaremongering only goes so far.
The simulator allows you to either scare yourself or reassure yourself, but it's based on reality.
Another useful element to this drill is the data it uses. Historical data are planted and come to life through the simulator to facilitate emergency responses as well as forward planning in action.
Knowing where hazards are and knowing where they're not is extremely valuable information to businesses such as insurance. Instead of blanketing Portland as a hazard-prone parish, we can know which parts of Portland are hazard-prone, therefore allowing people in Portland who are not in hazard-prone areas to get lower insurance premiums. You underwrite them differently. And you also underwrite more accurately and properly the people who are in hazard-prone zones.
So, if you have already bought your dream home or are thinking of buying or building, you may want to try a few simulation exercises to test the stability of your home or to find out if where you intend to build is the best place to put down roots.
That's all the time we have for today, but another program comes your way tomorrow. Until then, just click on our website, jis.gov.jm to stay connected. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the production crew, I'm Audrey Williams. Take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.